Welcome to Season 3 of The Breakdown, the official podcast of the Breakaway Roping Journal and calfroping.com. This season, we're diving into both the breakaway and calf roping like never before, bringing you the personalities, successes, and horses that make these events great.
You can expect training tips from the top ropers, stories from the road, and industry news that goes beyond the numbers.
I'm Taylor Vollen, your calf roping host.
And I'm Lillian Kent, your breakaway host.
And this is The Breakdown.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breakdown. This is Lillian, your breakaway host, and today I'm bringing you an episode with Resistol Rookie of the Year candidate Ariana Varischetti, hailing from Australia. Ariana moved over to the United States last year to work on her rookie year, and she has some wild stories to tell, from the adventure of shipping her two horses from Australia to New York and then down to Texas, to a head-on collision that happened when she was on the wrong side of the road that she definitely should not have walked away from. It is a crazy interview, really fun, really interesting. I've never met Ariana before, and I found myself totally drawn in and ready to be this girl's best friend. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. But before we jump in, I need to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza, hosted with Pink, Ruby, and Riata Buckle programs. This event is happening in September, and it's a collaboration that's guaranteeing a $200,000 purse plus a $50,000 guarantee for the 5 and under breakaway horses. This is definitely something you're going to want to put on your calendar, and I'll be telling you a little bit more about it later in the episode. But for now, it's time to rope. Let's go. Well, hello, Ariana. Thank you for taking some time to chat with us this evening.
Thank you, Lillian, for having me.
Awesome. Well, we'll jump right in. First of all, Resistol Rookie of the Year candidate, hailing from the land down under, which we haven't seen a ton of Australians in the breakaway so far.
Yes, man. I mean, there's been a fair few come over here in the rough stock, and we have a few in the stereo thing, but no, there aren't many in the breakaway. There are a couple barrel races as well.
Okay. So to kind of set the stage, I would love to hear a little bit about what rodeo is like back home. Where is your hometown in Australia?
So I've lived in Mackay, Queensland, for the past probably 6 years, and then I was in Tamworth, New South Wales, which is actually like our country music horse capital per se. And I rodeo. We kind of have two circuits we can rodeo in the pro circuit, which is like the PRCA. It's called the APRA, and then we have another association called the ABCRA. So it just depending where you live, and we probably only have about 40 that we could get to a year. So we pretty much go to everything there is to go to. We will drive 17 hours to one rodeo over for the weekend. And that to me now is crazy because I probably complain about driving 6 hours down the road. But yeah, it's kind of just we just take what we can get, and it's more of a casual get together. We're there for 2 days, catch up with friends and everything. Where I find over here, it's more of a business kind of deal, which I like that.
That's super interesting. And both Queensland and New South Wales are on the eastern side of Australia. How is kind of the culture on the eastern side of the country? I mean, I know it's absolutely huge.
So over that side, I guess that's mainly where all the rodeos are. I actually am originally from Western Australia, so I moved in 2012 just to rodeo. I rodeoed in Western Australia. It was we're very limited, so I wanted to give myself the best opportunity, which I maybe move over there, and then I obviously wanted to get more of an opportunity, which is why I moved to America. But yeah, so the east side of Australia is where all the cattle farming and I guess it's just a lot bigger. We have other horse sports, so camp drafting is really big, and there's a lot more events over there. So yeah, it's a lot different, but it's in Australia, the east has more opportunity for what we do.
Yeah, camp drafting is so cool. And the cuttings over there too.
Yeah, they actually, it's funny, no, I'm so surprised that camp drafting hasn't taken off over here because over there it is huge. And like, I guess like they're used cutting horses, but then we have our Australian stock horse that we cross over them to get like the more like agility, athletic side out. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. So you went from Western Australia, grew up on the West Coast, moved east for a little bit more opportunity by what we would consider like our standards. And then now you're in the United States, which is just like probably an entire new world for you as far as rodeo opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the opportunity to compete at the high school finals in Rock Springs, Wyoming in 2013, and I like made some pretty good contacts there, and that kind of gave me a bit of a taste of what it was like over here, and I was like, this is cool. So I went home, and then I guess like I was a lot younger then, so it was like a dream thing for me. And then moving on, I did a colt starting internship in South Dakota at Web Ranches, and that was they do barrel racing, so it was like really cool for me to like do the colt starting internship there, and then from there I came down and I was fortunate enough to through friends stay with Dina and Cliff Kirkpatrick, and then I had met Larry D and Hope Thompson. They come over and did a clinic in Tamworth, and when they were there they said, hey, if you're ever over, like give us a call and come stay. So I reached out and ended up there. I was meant to be there for like a few days, and I ended up staying there for like quite a while. And they're like family to me. So that I was really fortunate to have that contact when I decided that I did want to make the move over here. Hope and LD have been great, and the whole Guy family. So yeah, I'm really lucky in that aspect.
Definitely pillars of the breakaway community.
Yeah, they are. They're great. And like, I mean, everyone else I've met through them, they're really, really, really awesome women.
And when did you do your colt starting internship?
That was in 2017. And then it was 3 months, and it was over the summer, I guess. And I stayed out here until it was just after the NFR. I went home, and then I planned to come back pretty like quickly. I was going to kind of get my things in line, and I like finish up work and whatnot, save. And then COVID like was basically what stopped me from coming back. And then it was nearly a godsend because I didn't have my good horse at that time, and I got a really good job, like found him. He actually come into my life unexpectedly. I didn't really like him, to be honest, at the start, but my friends that I live with, they kind of pushed me into buying him, and once he became just mine, yeah, we gelled. He's awesome. But then I kind of like got like I was getting on. I mean, I was probably like 28, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to do this now because I don't want to regret not doing it. So I just thought, you know what, I have a really, really good job, but you can work like whenever in your life, and you only get this opportunity once. So I spoke to my work, and they were like on board with letting me take leave with no pay for 2 years. So I'm on that at the moment. So if at any time I want to go home, I can, and I have my job there, which is like I'm really fortunate to have that. But yeah, so I guess I just packed up and we come over here. And at the time, I had spoke to Larry D and I said, like, roughly, what am I going to have to spend on buying a horse? And she's like, just bring your own. She's like, honestly, like yours is like probably what you're gonna buy. You can't get anything better than him, and you know him. Like you're gonna throw a leg over and be confident on him. So I looked into that, and it was a lot cheaper to do that than it was to purchase one.
Gotcha. I want to backtrack just a little bit. What job did you do over there?
So I work in coal mining, and I'm a dragline operator, which if you look that up on the internet, it's pretty crazy. There's very, very few women who do that job, but it's like basically you just picture like a massive excavator, like the bucket of dirt that it can pick up is like 200 tons of dirt. So it's a huge machine.
That's insane. How did you get into that job?
I always really liked, it's kind of crazy, like I really liked operating machinery. When I first left school, I did earth moving for a friend's like dad's company. And then I always just want to do that, like working outside, either that or in farming. And that in Australia, like mining pays so well. So I kind of went down that road. And then I just was fortunate with great opportunities in like within that industry to get like make my way up to being a dragline operator. So it's like probably one of the most sought after jobs in the mining industry, and I'm fortunate enough to be trained and qualified in it.
That is really cool. And
Yeah.
so it's almost like COVID lets you go home, reset, stash up some money, find your horse, and now you're ready to jump in feet first in the 2024 rookie race.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what I was kind of going, like I didn't know what to expect coming over here. I got here in April last year, and I guess I just wanted to get my permit filled, and I honestly thought that would take me a while. So I was prepared to try and just figure it out. The Over here, the biggest thing that I've noticed that challenging for me and my horse is like the scores and having different setups, different calves everywhere you go. Like we have the same contractor at every rodeo, and there's barely a score on most of our starts. So it's just the same everywhere we go. And I just that's been huge to like change and adapt to it over here.
That's something that you don't even think about because, of course, the shorter scores are in the buildings, the longer scores are outdoors in California and fun stuff like that. And you never even think about other countries and how other things are set up.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't something that I thought about. And I don't have some girls have horses that they've got suited better for a short score and suited better for a longer score. And I've just really had to make my horse teach him how to stand in my hand and trust me, because he's kind of wants to fire and we break out a lot, but it's just his style. And some places now I'm like, okay, that's just really not going to suit us. I just know what he's like, I know what suits me, and it's easier for us just to not go, and I'll take him somewhere where I know it's going to suit him and myself. So it's been a lot to get used to, but we're figuring it out. And most of these rodeos around here are pretty cool, but we went out to California, and that was cool, but it was very different and hard for us to get used to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If you had to explain the setup there, is it pretty much the shoot bangs and you go?
Pretty much. I've seen some girls go before their calf and get out. You just go with your nod. You sometimes don't have to see anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The scoring's like
I
half of the variable in breakaway. So
Right, and I'll sometimes see a video that someone's posted, and I'll have to show these girls. And this is how we rope in Australia. Isn't this crazy? This is why I break out.
you're like, this is Danielle Lohman, the Australian version.
Oh, she would. Yeah, but it's funny now. I think about it, and I'm like, if I was to go back there, I think you could still be just as fast staying off them and roping them away from you. I've added probably 2 feet to my rope. It's crazy how I've had to change everything. I reach a lot more now, whereas I would rope my calves under me because you're leaving with them and they're right there.
Oh
So
my
a lot
goodness.
has changed. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza. Heads up, everybody. The Pink, Ruby, and Riata Buckles are combining their breakaway roping efforts into one mega event for all the progeny of the stallions across the 3 programs, which doubles the number of available horses and doubles the payout for fall of 2024. This collaboration is guaranteeing a $200,000 purse and a $50,000 guarantee for 5 and under breakaway horses. These changes will make this contest one of the largest in the world, if not one of the largest breakaway purses offered this season. This event is taking place Sunday, September 29th at the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and entries are closing September 1st. You better get those entries in because this is not going to be something you're going to want to miss. Find all the information at riatabuckle.com or listen to the Breakaway Breakdown episode a few back to hear more about this amazing event. Now let's jump back into the episode. Tell me about your horse. What's his name? Where'd you find him? You said you had to get talked into buying him.
So his name is Reno, and he's 12-year-old quarter horse gelding. And the people I lived with in Queensland, I've lived with them for quite a while. they brought him as probably a 3-year-old. He coming from a family that camp draft, so he's by a great sire called Acres Destiny in Australia. They're honestly the best horses. They're so versatile, and he's basically when we got him, he is so quirky. So I would say he's crazy. He really doesn't like to be caught or anything like that. It's kind of like really haunted on the ground, will snort at you and everything. So he was like that, but 10 times worse as a 3-year-old. You'd ride him along and like put your hand out and he would basically like try to spin out from underneath you. So I hated riding him, and myself and Jordan Acker, the son of the guy I used to work with, we would fight over like who was going to ride this horse. So I guess as he progressed along, I took him to his first rodeo, which I placed on him there, and there was a couple other guys that calf roped on him. So he was kind of like green and, figuring it out. And I had a really good sorrel horse that I was letting a kid ride, and he got along with him so well. And Shane was like, you need to sell that. You need to sell Rafferty to that kid. I'm like, hell no. Like, I can't replace him. He's like, well, you rope on Reno so well. And I was like, I hate that horse. And he was like, well, you get along so well. And I was like, I don't think so. So Megan Pullman was actually over here. Oh, she still lives here. Sorry, a friend of mine. And she was coming back to Australia, and she's like, she said to me, like, does Shane have anything like I like this horse that he has? Like, can you get some videos on him? So I was like, yeah, sure. So I went and roped 10 calves, like roped really well on him, and we were looking at the videos, and Shane's like, you need to buy him. And I was like, yeah, you think so? Like, and I roped really well on him, and I was like, all right, I'll buy him. But I was like, I'm not paying top dollar because I feel like I've done all the hard yards with this horse. Like, he was hell to ride. So I brought him, and I guess once he was just mine, and all the other guys got off him. He doesn't really like men. I figured that out. He just likes women, and he's a very one-person horse. He just like went ahead in leaps and bounds, and honestly, like that was the best thing that's ever happened to me, because he just loves his job. He just loves rope calves, and like he'll give me his whole heart, and it doesn't matter like how. I guess like even if he's feeling sore or anything, like I wouldn't really know, because he'll just work for me every time.
Wow.
And I'm like that, and I've like that. I think like that in a horse, you can't breed it into him or anything. Like, they just have to have it. So I love that he loves his job, and I'm like so glad that I was able to bring him over here with me.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about the shipping process for bringing him over here.
So it's actually so crazy to me, because it is so easy and like low stress. Like I was worried about how not worried they were. So they basically just like get you to ship them down to Melbourne. That's where my horses are from. So I sent two, actually. I sent Reno, and then I had when I was deciding what I was going to do, and looking at horses to buy, I thought I might need a practice horse. So I had a really good gelding, and I thought I'm just going to take him as well, because it was cheaper, which I have not roped a calf off him since he's been here. He's been doing the RFA futurities in the heading, which is pretty cool for him. So I had those two, which I'm glad I did send to, because I think they did well having a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just made sure they were super fit and like really healthy when before they were going to fly. We tried to work it out. We're obviously opposite over there. So like your summer, we're in winter. So we wanted them to go from like the climates being pretty similar. So that was like one of the things I counted in. And I just when I sent them down there, they go to Melbourne. They basically get like a full check examination to make sure they're healthy to fly. They take photos of them and everything, and then they load them. It's into a cargo plane, and I guess there's like a bay, and there's 3 stalls in it, so it'd be like the same as in the trailer. Like, they're pretty confined, so they can't move around. They put them on there, like it lifts up onto like a lift, slides into the I guess the cargo flight. And then my horses went on a seriously long route. So they flew from Melbourne to Hong Kong, and then they stopped at Hong Kong. I guess they dropped off some light freight there. And then they went on to Anchorage, Alaska, and then they landed in New York and it was 35 hours, and I tracked the flight. I don't think I got any sleep. I tracked the flight like the whole way, and when they got there, they take photos of them and everything, send them to you, and then they don't usually quarantine them because we don't have anything in Australia that like you guys have in America. So but because they stopped in Hong Kong, they had to have 5 days in quarantine. So they just make sure they're not like, they don't, I guess they make sure they're not sick. They haven't picked anything up from the other country. And then they were shipped to Texas. And when they got here, they were so fresh, which made me really happy. They like just played and played for hours. I guess they had been separated for 5 days. So, but yeah, it's pretty easy, the whole shipping thing process. But yeah,
You can't see my face right now, but every time you listed a new place they went, my eyes just like popped. Like,
I know they're better traveled than I am.
I don't know why I thought they were going to put them on a boat.
Well, I everyone thinks that, and then a boat would take like months, I think, to get here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really cool, and I like really wish that they would just have like a little camera or something, and you could watch. But I YouTube so much. I was worried, and all the like videos and stuff are pretty cool. Like they have their own groom, and they make sure they have hay and water. And I don't think like, I guess the flight isn't really that rough. Like it's pretty better going on a flight than it is traveling down the road in a trailer.
Wow. Yeah. And the person that's attending to them probably knows quite a bit about horses. I would be sending them with like detailed instructions on like
I know.
the grain, the hay, blah, blah, blah.
I was so worried, and the lady kind of reassured me. She's like, "We like import $1 million racehorses." I'm like, "Yep, you're right." Like my rodeo horse is probably nothing for you.
So they got home,
Yeah.
they were fresh. What is your practice horse that hadn't seen the breakaway pin's name?
His name's Ranson. He's by Pepdor Stylish Oak. He's stud. They actually imported him over here a couple months ago, and he's at Breeds Valley. But yeah, he's really, really cool. He actually, like we started him in the breakaway, and I wrote calves on him for a while, and then some friends of mine, Abby and Brady Smith, they took him to like start him in the heading because I team rope a bit, and I kind of wanted something that was like I could do a few events on and give my good calf horse a break. So then they moved over here, and we just decided that he was really cool. So we kind of went partnership on him and brought him over here with us. And yeah, he's just been doing the heading at the futurities, and he's been going really well. So it's exciting to see him come over here and do something for himself, I guess, because not just be a backup calf horse.
Yeah, he needs to pay his grain bill.
Yeah, he does, and he is, and like it's really cool that we've got between us. They imported 2, so we've got 4 Australian horses, and it's funny when we have them in the pasture together. We're like, that's the Aussies.
I love it. So today, are you pro-rodeoing full time, trying to do this rookie thing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to be a professional rodeo cowgirl. So we've been going as much as we can. I guess I've like been smart about it too. I've only got 1 horse, so I don't really want to like haul the legs off him. And my goal was to be consistent over quantity, like, quality over quantity. And so we've done as many good circuit rodeos as we can to get our count, and then went out to California, which was really fun. And we will obviously go out for the 4th of July run. I'll be traveling with Sierra Spratt and Brayley Shepherd. So it's pretty cool to be traveling with Brayley, a former Resistol Rookie of the Year. She should be able to give us some tips on how to win it.
Yeah, I'm gonna rub off on you. I see right now you have your count at 29, which it's pretty big count. You've been busy, it seems.
Yeah, we have been busy.
Okay.
I think we went when a lot of people didn't go, and I guess just trying to get a head start on them over the winter. When we went out to Florida as well, that was like really good.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're having a little trouble with the longer starts. What are some of the things that you and Reno are working on to master as well as you can the score in America?
So Larry D has helped me with this a lot as well, but I anticipate what I want to see. So we're just working on seeing what I want to see and then staying aggressive instead of like, especially when you have like them walking fresh calves and stuff like that, like it's easy to hesitate when you see them like kind of take a step and you're like, oh shoot, are they gonna like run? But like just making sure I see exactly what I want to see and what I plan to see, and then just like staying aggressive and just taking like, just taking everything to my calf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scoring is hard enough, but then you add the walking fresh in the mix and it just gets that much more mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do not do that in Australia. So that was like a big deal, especially for my horse. I felt like a few things I've done to just help him. Like I keep my hand down, like I don't pick my rope up, and then I might like nod my head backing up or take the calf with his head turned, and he feels a lot better. He stands really good then. Like he does score good, but if I act like I'm actually going to score the calf, then he feels a lot better for me.
Awesome. So, someone had mentioned that you had a really bad accident. Can you tell me a little bit about that deal?
Yeah, so we were driving to Mount Pleasant. I was staying at the Brandy and Gary Gilbert, and they left for the steer wrestling, and I decided not to go with them because the breakaway was like the last event. So I left probably an hour later, and I just pulled out of their driveway and drove on the left side of the road, so the Australian side. And I come around the first corner. I was probably half a mile from the house, and I seen like lights in front of me, and it's 5:30 in the morning, so it's pretty dark. And I was like, shoot, they're on my side of the road. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm on their side of the road. And it's crazy like how quickly you can think, because I was like, I can't go onto the right side of the road because he's going to hit my trailer and kill Reno. And I was like, there is no way I'm letting that happen. So I tried to pull like hard left, and there was a guardrail, and I just shut my eyes, and I was prepared to like whatever's going to happen, he's going to hit me like head on. And he swerved to the left and hit me center and then sideswiped my truck and trailer. And I honestly don't remember anything. I remember standing with the sheriff once, I guess I had got out, and I don't remember how I got out or how Reno got out, but all I kept asking him was like, is he okay? Like, is my horse okay? And he was like, he's fine, he's right here. And I like couldn't physically go over and check him. It was so strange. But thankfully he was fine and I was fine, like surprisingly. We went to JPS like emergency, and then we were cleared from there, and it was a week before like these three rodeos today, Coleman, Cleburne and Weatherford. And I had some time off, and then I was like, okay, I really need to get my permit filled. So I went out and did those three rodeos, and it was probably like a few days after that I started having like trouble with my head, and I was kind of fighting it like this is all part of the concussion. So I was at Larry D's roping one day, and it just got so unbearable. I felt like I was going to faint, like my vision went blurry. And I got off the horse, and she was like, you need to go, like, we're taking you to emergency. And she had been saying it for a little while, but I was like, okay, I need to go, because I was like, I'm not okay. And they did another CT scan on my brain, and I had a subdural hygroma, which is like basically fluid at the base of your skull. So at that stage, I had my permit filled, and I was like, all right, I'm ready for like whatever I need to do. So it was basically like bed rest for 2 weeks. But we're very, very lucky to be alive. It was pretty bad.
Rodeo people, man, you're like, man, I was just in a head-on wreck with a semi. Take a moment, pause, breathe. Let's finish filling my PRCA permit.
Seriously, like now it's like that was kind of stupid, but that's just like, yeah, I was like, have a goal. I need to just finish that.
Oh
And then
gosh. Well, I could have told you that.
she's like, you do know that a NFL athlete has at least 2 weeks off after a concussion. Yours is like 10 times worse than theirs. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, the truck was probably toast, and your trailer's also toast.
My truck and my trailer, both of them. And the worst thing is like I hadn't been here long, and I just got that rig, so my insurance hadn't gone through yet, so I didn't have insurance on any of it.
No.
Yeah, so I just lost basically all of that. And thankfully, like God sent people, the Browns, Billy Bob Brown, I was meant to go work for him for the summer, and I was like, look, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. I don't have a rig. And he called me, and he was like, we want you to still be able to like, chase your dreams. That's what you're over here for. So you use my truck, like my trailer. We're going out for the summer. Like you just do whatever you need to do, but don't worry about it. Like, we've got it. So I'm so thankful for the Brown family, like KB, DD, and Billy Bob. They're seriously like the greatest people.
Yeah. What a shock to your system.
Yeah, it really was.
So 2 weeks bed rest. How did you kind of come out of it after that?
I come out of it fine. Honestly, once I got the right medication and was able to get all of that at, I guess, Bay, I was fine. And my horse, I thought maybe like a delayed shock would probably be like he would get something from it, but he didn't. And they're such incredible animals. Like, he loaded straight back on a trailer from that
Oh
wreck.
my gosh.
No, didn't. They said he didn't even like hesitate, just straight back on. I was like, gosh.
We don't deserve them.
Seriously, I was like, he seriously trusts me. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm so thankful he was okay. And I'd never travel my horses right up onto into the living area if I don't have to. I'll put something in that bay, like hay. I had hay in that bay, and I had him in the second bay, and I honestly think having him there saved him also, because that living part collapsed kind of into that first bay. So I'd hate to know how he could have been hurt, but he thankfully just had a cut on his hip and that was it.
Put hay in the first line, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh
if
my
you can get
gosh.
away with it, and don't travel a horse at the back.
Yes, for the rear end.
For the rear end. Yeah. That's just like a thing I just always think about.
So
If
what
I
I'm
can.
hearing is buy at least a 3-horse trailer.
If you need to take 3, you need to buy a 5-horse.
Yes, absolutely. All the trailer
Pretty much.
dealerships like, I like this.
Yeah.
So you said you came over last April. So you've passed 1 year. What are you going to do when your next year comes up?
So that'll be April next year, and I'm pretty sure my boss and everyone, all my workmate colleagues, are already sure that I'm not coming home. So I think they won't be surprised if I just say, yeah, I'm gonna stay here. So we'll just play it by ear. But at this stage, I'm happy where I am, and I've got some really good friends and had great opportunities. So I guess we'll just see how this year goes rodeoing and go from there. I would honestly, where the breakaway is at right now, I think I would rather go finish my rookie year out and then go down the horse training road, for futurity horses maybe, until the breakaways at the Thomas and Mack at the NFR for equal money. I think it's kind of, that's everyone's goal. But going down the road for where it's at right now, it's just not really feasible. And where I'm at, it's for us especially, we lose a lot of money coming over here with our dollar exchange. So I'm just fortunate, I've had great friends help me and stuff, because yeah, it's tough. But there's some great opportunities in the breakaway roping now, especially with that Kynes Ranch $1 million breakaway. That's awesome, and if we can make the most out of those opportunities, then we'll for sure keep going.
I hadn't even thought about the dollar exchange.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that it seems like you have a great community around you, and that is so big, especially if you're feeling homesick or you're feeling like maybe this isn't the right choice. You always need somebody to kind of prop you back up and say, no, you're doing the right thing. Keep going.
Yeah, and my family is so supportive of me back home. You sometimes get am I doing the right thing? I feel like I'm wasting money. Should I go home and work? Because I do have a good job. And my brother especially, he's like, no, this is where you need to be. Just keep grinding, and your time will come. I believe you. I'm like, okay, I got this.
Nice. And I feel like a lot of people have been saying what you just said about the breakaway and the money, and it basically the numbers literally don't add up, which is super frustrating. But it's also part of what I love about my job, because I feel like I get to be on this kind of almost feminist front of add breakaway. Let's get it together. Let's do this.
And I think continuously talking about it and bringing it up, making people aware of where, obviously everyone knows where we want it to be, but we're doing our part. We're entering, they've had to limit them, I guess, because everyone's entering, and we're trying to do as much as we can. But it's just something that it will come around. Like, it's where it is already now. I guess it's come this far thanks to those ladies who worked so hard for it, but it'll get there eventually.
Yes, ma'am. It sure will. It's interviews like this that make me remember why I do what I do and how much I just absolutely love the breakaway industry. The different perspectives, stories, and love of the sport and the horses is definitely why we're all here, and I just can't wait to see breakaway make it onto bigger and bigger stages. We will be keeping you up to date with Ariana's adventures as well as the rest of the Resistol rookie field. Stay tuned for more top 15 updates as we crack into the Reno Rodeo. And special thanks again to the Breakaway Buckle Bonanza for supporting this episode of The Breakdown. We have a special episode covering the event a few episodes back. If you want to check that out, my boss lady Chelsea covered a lot of common questions and event details, and it's looking more and more like something that you're not going to want to miss come September. Well, we will catch you guys next time on The Breakdown.